spirituality also can be increased with the tranquility and all. So there are a lot of other things also in between we discuss. But before that, I want to tell you a few important things about yoga and mental health. Of late, what you are seeing is we what do you call the importance of yoga is being realized more today by what you call people in abroad, and they are coming to what you call India and studying yoga, practicing yoga, and then they go back to their country, and they disseminate the benefits of yoga for others. Unfortunately, we being Indians, we don't get that good benefits out of it. How many of you know that Mysore is a hub of yoga? One place called as Gokulam in Mysore, where it's known for yoga, and many of the foreigners would come and what do you call, make the best use of it, and they practice it. They get a training and then go back. So I would expect even some of us can involve in this, so that we can derive the benefits without any medication or without any extra efforts. So we start with the issue of what you call mental health and yoga. If you remember, all these practices which have been started in the ancient traditions, uh, and these are the and I request all the participants there, when you talk, please mute yourself, because otherwise it will be disturbing others. So it has become a popularly lifestyle practices, and we call them as yoga masters. Why? Because there are a lot of benefits. Apart from the physiological benefits, which are we are restricted only to the mental health and emotional well-being, where psychologically how it can benefit, so that we can have a better quality of life. Though it is a physical activity, but the idea is what you call in psychology we talk a concept of mind and body and mind relationship, and yoga can be very much fit in what you call body and mind relationship. So if the body is fine, mind is also fine. If the mind is fine, body is also fine. So you can find what you call a interrelationship between body and mind, which can be promoted much more by what you call yoga and related activities. So today we have seen, we say the world is what you call, forget about the materialistic world. Being individuals, everybody is facing stress. So we say stress is the buzzword of the day, where because of the stress, a lot of psychosomatic disorders being what you call suffered from what you call people in all the types of jobs. So there should be a way to come out of this. So one has to manage the stress first of all. So for stress management, yoga can be a better way, because they have proven to be very valuable tools, because they can reduce our stress levels a lot. By what you call by yoga practices, one can have a relaxation, and by relaxation you get a lot of calmness in the mind, and thereby one can increase the overall mental health of the individual. So there are several what you call researches have been done on what you call influence of yoga on specifically on anxiety, depression, and stress related disorders. Now, it's not only just we are going to talk about anxiety, depression, and other stress related factors, how it can improve our day to day well being. That is also more important. So, research has given several ideas for us, where uh, it can reduce our levels of anxiety, it can reduce our depression, and it can reduce our stress for a greater extent. Then, because of this, where there's a positive benefits.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Lancy, sir.
Yeah.
Video off ಆಗಿದೆ sir ನಿಮ್ದು.
Video better, madam. I am on the what you call. I am on the desktop. No, don't worry about the video part, madam. You just
Okay,
leave the.
okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So coming back to this one, what are the major psychological benefits that we are going to talk about? So when you talk about the cognitive abilities, because this is why, because I want to talk this specific ability about what you call cognitive abilities, because most of the teachers, what you call, you are, I think most of the participants here, you are teaching in the colleges. Now, please understand, your experience would be students are lost interest in their concentration. They're not able to focus on the studies. Now, this is where their cognitive functions are declining. So because of these cognitive functions and concentrations and focusing is declining, uh, there need to be we have to need to do something for our students. That's why I think in a few of the curriculum or few of in the syllabi, yoga practices or a separate section on yoga is being included. So that's the idea. And along with the yoga, even meditation, even
ಹೌದಾ ವಿಕಾಸ್
again I'm requesting the participants, please what you call mute your what you call microphones, otherwise it will be disturbing others including me. Please do that. Okay, now the idea is they enhance cognitive abilities. Now what is the meaning of a cognition? So cognition here refers to the whole lot of world of thinking. So and thinking involves a lot of things like attention, memory, and executive functions, which includes even decision making. So this practice can definitely improve. So we'll see one by one how it can be. Now there are few studies already been reported that if a person practices yoga regularly, it can have what you call positive impact on the emotional regulation. To say that it can manage your anger a lot. So anger management would be much easier. And self awareness, now we change the word to mindfulness, can have this one. And a sense of inner peace, that means getting more awareness of about ourselves and finding a peace in that. So that's the idea. So if you start what you call exploring the psychological benefits of these practices, definitely it can what can practice them, definitely it can increase the cognitive performance. Also what you call our psychological and emotional well-being would increase, including the spiritual development, because nowadays we are facing what you call a lot of what you call challenges within ourselves and within with the others, and especially being teachers with the students and colleagues also. So these challenges have to be managed in a better way. So that's why this talk is. Before getting into the what you call definite benefits of what you call or yoga and mental health issues, so let me talk about few of the specific what you call just mention what you call the types of yoga which can beneficial for improving the mental health. The first one is the hatha yoga. It is basically based on what you call basic poses, which is not much tough. Okay, and it requires breath control. And those who start with what you call yoga, it is good for them. And those who want for relaxation, hatha yoga can be a, what you call better option. The second type is vinyasa yoga. Okay, it incorporates a flow of forces with the breath synchronization. What you call where what you call we in psychology we call about deep breath relaxation techniques. Likewise, it could be breath synchronization, and this can lead to what you call promoting mindfulness and emotional balance. The third type could be restorative yoga, that is focused on relaxation and healing. Okay, because this is only for what you call restorative, like you can make the by the name itself, it is clear where it can be used for relaxation healing, and those with the high stress, uh, this can be managed better. Then another type is called as Kundalini yoga. Okay, and this combines physical postures and breathing connected to chanting. So there are what you call depending upon this one, you can have a type of a specific types of physical postures along with the type of breathing and chanting. So to awaken the energy and promote emotional well-being. So some people will what you call get into Kundalini yoga too. And there is a what you call in yoga. That's nothing but a slower paced practice that targets the deep connective tissues. Okay, this requires what you call little what you call more time for to do that, because it's a slower pace practice, and it encourages the deep relaxation. So we do have relaxation, deep relaxation, and introspection. So basically we talk about introspection in psychological terminology is looking within one's own mind. So that's a technical meaning of introspection, where we try to introspect ourselves, look ourselves into what we are in a very systematic way. In a way, it is a combination of self-awareness as well as mindfulness. So these are the different types, like you have Hatha Yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, Restorative Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, and Yin Yoga, where you can read more details, and you can, if you want really interested in that, you can really practice on them. So we start with the one by one, where we are going to start with the cognitive benefits, how it can improve our mental health. So when it, as I said, when you talk about the cognitive benefits, basically it is embedded in our thinking and thought process. So uh, Dr. Gayatram, please. Now, one of the issue where we talked about what you call enhanced attention and focus. See, attention is how our sensory organs, what you call, focus on what you call the set stimuli, because usually the sense organs where they're ready for receiving the information, and whenever there is a stimulus which is coming from any type, so we have to respond to it. And this what you call, in a way we call it as a reaction time. So by practicing yoga or meditation, there could be increased attention. That means what, our reaction time for the set stimuli would be much faster. Then it can involve in sustained attention, where it's not only just on a momentary level, it can be for a prolonged level. And this can increase our ability to focus on tasks. So this is what exactly I said, our students nowadays lack attention and focus. So I think it can be helpful for not only students, even for others, for a sustained attention, so that listen to our classes, as well as whenever we give them some task, they can focus on the task being given. So that's the idea. The second part, another study by Razek et al. Was given something interesting, like breath control in yoga and meditation, that gives the idea that regulating their attention, because the moment they start what you call regulating their attention, the idea is that increase their awareness. So once their awareness is increased, automatically lead to better concentration. Remember, once it leads to better concentration and reduced mind wandering. So the we use the word mind wandering. You know what this mind wandering is, where the mind is not what you call focused, or what you call, our concentration or attention is not focused on a, what you call a single aspect. It will be what you call just shift, our thought process will shift here and there. That's where a kind of stabilization is required. And by practicing these two, attention and focus can be increased. So recently, in what you call addiction process, I don't know how many of you heard a new concept called as popcorn brain syndrome. Have you heard of them? Popcorn brain syndrome. So because of the excessive
No,
usage
sir.
of, uh,
No, sir. Not really here.
okay, it's called as a popcorn brain syndrome. Okay. Now, this popcorn brain syndrome is nothing but because of the excessive use of social media. The student, especially among the youngsters, they are not able to control their thought processes. So there is a multiple switchovers of thoughts here and there. So it is like your thoughts are popping up like a popcorn, or what you call vessel. You must have seen how they pop up, how they blast. The same thing is going to happen. So in such cases, yoga and meditation can be useful for those people practice it. Then another important from a physiological part of it, there could be structural changes in the brain. Okay, I'm not telling what you call from my this side. There are studies have been proven that there are what you call structural changes. See, this is more important, where when the structural changes would happen, automatically it is good. Even in what you call addiction also, structural changes would happen, but they are not what you call required, because even in addiction also you can find lot of structural changes or rewiring of the brain. So this is on the negative side, but by practicing yoga or meditation, there could be structural changes. Now, that is called as neuroplasticity. Technically, it's called as what you call plasticity, which gives what you call brain's adaptive responses to mindful practices so that one can keep calm. So that's the idea. So the structural changes would happen. We call it as a neuroplasticity. Then another part is what you call yoga and meditation practice have been linked to decreased cognitive fatigue, because this is called as sometimes that very vague term could be burnout in our cognitive thinking or cognitive process. So this can be stopped, or this can be what you call blocked or reduced by practicing yoga and meditation. So this practice creates a mental environment conducive to sustained attention and reduced mental exhaustion. We may have heard of what you call physical exhaustion, but we in psychology talk about mental or psychological exhaustion also. And mental exhaustion is not a good idea because you cognitively age fast, though your age is less. So this can be reduced by practicing yoga. Then another important part, since we are talking about memory part of it, so by practicing what you call yoga or meditation, there could be improved working memory. So the working memory is what you call important by practicing this. Uh, because why working memory improves? Because there could be increased focus and concentration, and this increased focus and concentration leads to more attention. And once the attention is better, so it leads to better working memory. So, what exactly been done in here is that individuals will be trained onto the focus on the present moment, and this practice enhance the cognitive process involved in the temporary storage and what you call manipulation of information. So, the idea is why working memory we talk about, because it is the small amount of information that can be held in mind and used in the execution of cognitive task. So it is a small amount of information which is on the spur of the moment, but this can be increased. So that means what? Your attention will be sustained. So once the attention will be sustained, automatically our grasping is better, concentration is better. So all these things can happen. So again, one more physiological study. Earlier we talked about the structural changes in the brain. So the another part which is influenced by what you call by practicing meditation or yoga is increased activation in the hippocampus. So hippocampus is again as what you call a part of brain which what you call directly what you call associated with the memory processes. So once it is associated with the memory process, automatically hippocampal region, okay, what you call, if it is activated more, so it can increase our memory part. Sorry. So what is the idea here? So there is a potential neurobiological mechanism for the observed improvements in working memory because of what you call meditation practices or yoga practices. So even hippocampus, a part which is directly involved in what you call improving memory. Yes, the yoga and meditation practice can be useful. Then I was talking about mind wandering error, mind wandering, where the what you call we are not having a stable thoughts. So mind is not fixed at some specific aspect. So the mind keeps wandering because you'll have separate thoughts. It might end up in daydreaming also. So you are taking the class, but your students are in a daydreaming. They may be thinking like some other aspects other than the classroom activities or the subject being taught. Now definitely they'll have a concept called as mind wandering. So this can be reduced. So once the mind wandering is reduced, the focus will be more on the class, and definitely they can learn better. Now, why this happens? Because the attention part improved and that regulates what you call, and it is directly connected to working memory. So all this what you call interaction between these two makes what you call the memory process better and improved. And again, I was talking about executive functions. Okay, the executive functions here refers to what you call decision making. And decision making also can be better because yoga and meditation have got direct role in that. When you make a better executive control process, okay, more storage also would happen, more retrieval of information, that is again recalling the things. And because you have got enough information, because you have got memory storage is good, the decision making process also can be improved. So that's the idea there. And another thing which what you call people what you call expect to have a sound sleep. So nowadays the research has directly said sleep quality of the what you call people are reducing. It is not just that if you sleep 8 hours on a bed, but if you don't get a good sleep, that has got what you call direct impact on our both physical and mental health. Now, yoga is directly linked to better sleep quality. So, what is the idea here is uh, usually what you call an adult requires 8 hours of sound sleep. That means what? He should not get disrupted sleep. So usually the what you call doctors would advise the 8 hours of sleep would be better for a healthy functioning of the individual. Uh, Doctors still further say you can get up once in between and you can just go to washroom and come back and again next 4 hours. So that could be very good functioning. But unfortunately, what happens is many of us will sleep on 10 hours on the bed, but we may not get a sound sleep. So we'll be just rolling on the bed, but we may not get a good sleep. But now the studies have said what you call yoga improves sleep quality. Now, whom with this? Not only people with insomnia or other sleep disorders. So what is going to happen again? Blame it on the social media because of the invasion of social media, because of the invasion of digital technology. We are spending more screen time even in the nights. So this has got directly impact on our sleep, and one of them is insomnia, where we have a problem with the lack of sleep. So we are not going to get a good sleep. Now, what you call research is already has come, especially yoga research has given a lot of what you call positive ways to improve our sleep and sleep quality. Uh, Particularly what you call what happens when there are specific what you call yoga asanas to manage. You can read because this is just one part. I'm talking about how to improve our sleep quality, but there could be a separate talk on yoga and sleep. That's a different idea. So what's going to happen is some of the relaxation and deep breathing, what you call, makes the individual calm, and once the individual feels calm, and automatically the what you call mind becomes free. So when the mind becomes free, automatically the person can easily slip into the sleep mode because we think a lot of things because of tomorrow's job, target orientation, our interpersonal relationship, our financial issues. Because of this we are not able to get a good sleep, and our own what you call weaknesses and all. So there could be such problems, but by practicing yoga there could be increased sleep quality. Now another thing is what you call creating a bedtime routine, because what happens again no, because earlier we used to have a specific timetable. Usually people used to go to bed by 10 or 11 o'clock and get up by 6 or 5:30, 6 or 7. But nowadays the routine is completely changed. So because of this we are not able to get good sleep, and because of what you call lack of good sleep, there could be a problem both on our what you call mental and physical health. So that's why we feel dizzy, we feel less interested, we feel somewhat what you call energyless. But yoga can what you call improve our sleep quality, and thereby what you call it can even set a time for you to go for a sleep. And if you set a routine, then it's really good. The another part is called as cognitive flexibility and adaptability. So again, going back to still we are in the cognitive issues only. So MBCT, it's called as a mindful based cognitive therapy. Okay. So it is called as cognitive flexibility. Now here the idea is, as we already seen previously, there are a lot of what you call structural changes would happen. These structural changes would lead for enhancing cognitive flexibility. Once the individual have got more cognitive flexibilities, now it can lead to what you call better thinking and what you call because of that there could be better adaptability through our behavioral processes. So this is where MBCT proves a lot. Then, as I already said, the neuroplastic changes or neuroplasticity because of the yoga and meditation practices, what you call, have their own influence. Now, once there are structural changes in the brain, they foster adaptability in response to new information or situations which you must have found it difficult to adjust earlier. So that's the idea. Because of the cognitive flexibility and adaptability, you can manage the things better than what used to earlier. But now after practicing yoga, cognitive flexibility and adaptability may be increased in a better way. Then cultivating awareness of emotions and developing non-reactive responses. So emotional development, what you call awareness of emotions. Many times in a spur of the moment, we don't know what we are speaking, especially in the anger generating mode. We lose control. We lose control over a talk. Sometimes it can end up in violence. And why? Because we are not able to have what you call awareness on our emotions and later not able to manage our emotions without even thinking the consequences that what would happen. Now, this is not a quite what you call good idea, but yoga can what you call bring along with the what you call meditation, emotional regulation with what we are aware of. Now, this can reduce the impact of emotional states because even hitting a person, you have to make a quick decision. You want to do some act, you have to make an immediate decision. But yoga can what you call have a what you call reducing the impact of such emotional states so that we can think further and then decide what to do, which have direct impact on our decision making. So another thing we talked about overall brain, then we talked about hippocampus. Now another part which is what you call linked to increased activity is in the prefrontal cortex. So prefrontal cortex usually what you call nearby what you call maybe just behind the what you call a forehead, a region which is required for a lot of required or involved in the cognition and cognitive flexibility. So what happens? Because as I said, it's linked to increased activity in the prefrontal cortex. Now this prefrontal cortex involved in the what you call cognitive flexibility. So because of the activation of this or increased activity, now this helps the individuals in adapting their cognitive strategies to different circumstances. Now the person can what you call adapt in a different way in different situations so that he need not give a typical response or a stereotyped responses. So that's the idea there. Then another aspect with the cognition is increased brain connectivity. So we call it as a DMN. So alterations in the default mode network, which is a brain network related to self-referential thoughts and mind wandering. So now you can understand how this helps. It has what to call yoga and meditation practices. They are directly linked to the alteration. Our DMN would change. That means the default mode network that related to self-referential thoughts, what we think about our own selves and mind wandering. So this can be altered with the help of practicing yoga or meditation. So what is going to happen? By doing this, there is increased connectivity and integration within the brain. the more integration within the brain, the individual also feels more integrated. So a study by Brewer has clearly said, okay, there is a what you call DMN changes or alteration in the DMN changes that is good for human beings. They have not stopped there. They have done even neuroimaging studies using what you call various scanning methods. Uh, it is what you call integrity of white matter tracks, because we in our brain we have got a white matter content, and there is an integrity of white matter tracks, because and this leads to improved communication between different brain regions, because we have got different parts, different lobes, and because of the brain connectivity is being altered, so there will be improved communication between the different brain regions. Now once there is a what you call improved communication between what you call different brain regions, now this can lead to what you call enhanced overall brain function. Now remember, once there is an increased overall brain function, it is really good, because we can manage the things better. So that's why there's an increased brain connectivity leads to these things. And the enhanced what you call, there furthermore continuing, there could be communication between the brain hemispheres. Those with what you call not having much what you call uh, knowledge on the brain structure, we have two hemispheres, left and right hemispheres, where left hemispheres controls our right side of the body, and right hemispheres controls what you call our left side of the body. So it's a opposite diagonal what you call controlling of the body. So these two hemispheres, now there will be improved connection between what you call increased. So improved communication would be there, and once it is, we call it as interhemispheric connectivity. So this may contribute to more efficient processing and integration of information, because each hemisphere is linked with the specific tasks or jobs along with their lobes. So this will have what you call more efficient processing and integration of information. So the more efficiently and more efficiently we process and integrate this one, automatically the brain functioning would be better. Then another aspect is they've been associated with the functioning of connectivity changes, okay, where again we started with the attention and sensory processing. Yes, there is what you call these yoga practices associated with the functioning connectivity changes which would happen in the regions related to attention and sensory processing. Now, all this is going to happen a positive improvement on the coordination of neural networks. The more important is the neurological functioning of and coordination of neural networks. Our overall functioning also would be better. So whatever the behavior or whatever the action we do, directly we attribute to at a neuronal level and neurotransmitter level. And once the connectivity and coordination between them is increased, it is really going to be good for the overall functioning of the individual. So this is how what you call a few of the things what you call which you can see somatosensory and sensory and voluntary motor functions. Eye movement is included. Our emotions can be regulated and higher mental process. So all these things would have positive impact if what you call things are done in a right way. Then beginning also we talked about executive functions. Okay, so executive functions here basically leads to decision making process. Now, why our decision making process would be enhanced because of yoga practice? Because there will be enhanced awareness and reduced impulsivity. So, what is this enhanced awareness? Is we have what you call uh, the awareness about ourselves. That's the first thing. Awareness about, because of our self awareness and awareness about us outside, can make the things better in decision making and reduce impulsivity. Why? Because once there is a reduced impulsivity, that means there is a better emotional control, or and when the emotions are being controlled, as long as it is not harm others, now it leads to better executive functions, and these executive functions can lead to better planning and good decisions. So this is where the practices of yoga with various asanas can improve our decision making process. And already we talked about what you call cognitive flexibility, and there are positive effects on this aspect. Now, if an individual practices regularly the yoga, uh, it promotes our cognitive flexibility so as to deal with our day-to-day what you call emotions, day-to-day functioning. All those things can be managed in a better way. So that's the idea in executive functioning. And people have of late realized that usually what happens as the age increases, the cognitive decline would begin. And especially in the senile or after 60s, there could be faster cognitive decline because of the cell deterioration, because of the simple age effects. Now, research has suggested that uh, if person practices yoga or no, meditation, it can slow cognitive decline. That means what? You are more mentally fit as well as physically fit. So we can sometimes we find physical fitness, but there may not be a mental fitness. So why? Because it slows the rate of age-related cognitive decline. So as you have seen with our own what you call households, our own at home and all, as the age increases, a so-called cognitive decline would happen in terms of memory, in terms of what you call orientation to time and space. Usually, it's a quite what you call thing you have seen in an elderly, where they have what you call loss of memory for immediate events. They might remember their childhood events or this one, but they might what you call may not remember the things which happened just immediately few days back or this one. So immediate memory could be problematic, and there could be problem in what you call orientation to place and time. They may be thinking what you call okay, this could be midnight though it is at 10 o'clock in the morning, or they may think that I have not ate yet though they are just 8 and 5 minutes back. So all these things would happen, but this thing can be reduced or it can be postponed if a person engages in yoga or meditation. Now again, go back to hippocampal region where what you call yoga and meditation has been associated with the preservation of hippocampal volume, because usually what they say is what you call preservation of hippocampal volume is important because it is directly involved, as you have seen in earlier, linked to memory and learning. So once it's linked to memory and learning, now if the hippocampal volume, a part in the brain, is reduced, what you call, then there is a problem. So you must have seen how the elderly people, they lose memory, and this can be blocked. And as the individual's age, all these things can be reduced, though it is happening what you call in its own pace. But by practicing yoga or meditation, even cognitive decline can be what you call blocked or at least postponed. So this is where hippocampal region you are seeing. These are the dentate gyrus and the C1, C3 regions and EC, where there will be what you call reduction in the hippocampal volume. That means what? There could be shrink in the particular part of the brain called as hippocampus, and this has got direct impact on our learning and memory. But by practicing yoga, the hippocampal formation as well as the volume can be maintained intact. So that's the idea there. Then what happens if you practice yoga and meditation more and more? So we say it's a mentally enriching activity. So yoga and practice, this one, it is really a mentally enriching activity, and we say it might lead to contribute to the development of cognitive reserve. So cognitive reserve is what you call, as such we talk about like how much we are intact with our thought process or the thinking. Now, this can be useful for development of cognitive reserve. And another aspects is what you call it builds resilience against cognitive decline. You know, the concept of resilience is or bouncing back. So the cognitive decline would not happen the what you call the structures, hippocampal structures which are involved, they may not be reduced or shrink. So that means what? We are building resilience against such cognitive decline. We are trying to bounce back by practicing yoga or meditation. Then chronic inflammation has been linked to cognitive decline. Now, why we get what you call cognitive decline or our what you call disturbance in our thought process? Because of the inflammation process. Now, remember, by practicing yoga or meditation, there is a reduction in the inflammatory markers. That means what? Even the what you call, when you talk about the structural changes, the inflammatory markers, what you call, there will be reduction in that. That means what? There is a positive what you call, effect, and it there have a protective effect against what you call cognitive function. So see how much what you call benefits would be there, because of the inflammation there could be a cognitive decline, and this cognitive decline can be blocked by yoga and meditation practices, because there could be reduction in the inflammatory markers. So it's good for what you call cognitive functions, and your cognitive function will be protected. So these are all we talked about what you call cognitive issues, and the next category we talk about emotional benefits. So already I gave a few of the clues in the introductory part, like how it will be useful on a cognitive level. Now we are going to talk about emotional regulation level, later on the spiritual level. So one aspect is on the emotional regulation is what you call, there are few aspects are connected to yoga and meditation. So one of the program is MBSR, that is mindfulness based stress reduction. Now, a mindfulness is a part of it which what you call help us to understand ourselves own awareness. So this allows the individuals to observe and regulate their emotional responses, how we what you call react to others. Because nowadays there is a what you call nowadays you don't find that kind of patience with many people. For everybody wants the things to happen in a what you call in a nutshell and in a faster way. It should be happen immediately, and everybody wants to have a gratification on the spur of the moment. So all these things can be what you call managed, having one of the yoga connected therapy called as MBSR or mindfulness based stress reduction. Then we talked about remember already we talked about hippocampus. I'm bringing another what you call part of the brain called as amygdala. So amygdala is another what you call uh, part of the brain which is involved in our emotional processing. So there are some neuroscientific studies which have suggested that uh, this yoga or meditation practice have got influence on the amygdala, and it can contribute to better emotional regulation. So what is this better emotional regulation means? We can control our emotions. We need not be angry all the time. So it function. So you are managing your anger in a better way. There's nothing but reducing reactivity to emotional stimuli. So it can what you call, if there are emotional stimuli is there, you can reduce your reaction given to it, and might promote a more balanced emotional response. Now you think before you answer, or you think before act, compared to what you call a person who is non-practicing yoga or meditation. So now amygdala is responsible for emotional aspect, whereas remember hippocampus is responsible for memory and learning, all having a direct impact on the structural changes in the brain. Then enhanced emotional awareness and empathy. Now, this also what you call one of the concept associated with the yoga and meditation practices. Now, people have done a lot of research on stress, and one important thing they found was cortisol. Cortisol, what you call, is a hormone which is directly linked to stress. So, if you practice yoga or meditation, there could be lesser what you call secretion of cortisol. Now, Once there is a what you call lesser secretion of cortisol, so there could be lesser what you call disturbance in you. So by modulating the body stress response, what you call, because of this, these practices contribute to overall stress reduction. That's what is going to happen. The stress reduction would be there, and once there is a stress reduction in you, you can manage your what you call anxiety in a better way, because all these are highly related. Stress and anxiety, stress and depression, depression and anxiety, all they're related to each other. So by practicing this, one can have what you call reduced stress and reduced anxiety. So one of the what you call yoga exercises are deep breathing techniques. Okay, it actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is beyond our control. So once the once the once the activation of once parasympathetic nervous system is activated, it what you call it activates the what you call a relaxation response, which is beyond our hand. So what happens? What you call parasympathetic nervous system, which is triggered by the what you call relaxation response, we feel better. Now, whatever the trigger has come for parasympathetic nervous system, it counters the effects of the stress-induced fight or flight response. So usually we have called fight or flight response. So whenever we faced with the stress, if you are directly encountering the stress, then it is a fight response. And if you are trying to avoid and leave this one, then it's called as a flight response. Now,
ಸರ್
the
ಡಿಸೋಜ ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬಾಳ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೇವೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಸರ್,
ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ನಡ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದಾ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ
ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
ಹೌದಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡದವ್ರು ಇದ್ರಿ, ಸರ್ ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸರ್. ಒಂದ್ 5 ಜನ ಅದಾರೆ ಸರ್, ಕನ್ನಡ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ.
ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬೇಡ.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ನರಮಂಡಲದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂಥರ ಆರಾಮದಾಯಕ ಇರುವ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಮ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ಉದ್ವಿಗ್ನತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಉದ್ವಿಗ್ನತೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಲು ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವು ಅಧ್ಯಯನಗಳಿದೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಂಪತಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಂಪತಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತದನುಭೂತಿ. ಈ ತದನುಭೂತಿನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತದನುಭೂತಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇತರನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಂಪತಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಸಿಂಪತಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಂಪತಿ. ಸಿಂಪತಿ ಈಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಬಟ್ ಎಂಪತಿ ಈಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭಾವನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಯೋಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ಗಳ ಧ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಎಂಪಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಜಜ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್. ಈಗ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಜುಡೈಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಇವ್ರು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನ್ ಜಜ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಿಂಗ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ there are a few studies have said meditation practice may activate mirror neurons. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಮಿರರ್ ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತದನುಭೂತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇತರರನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ heightened empathetic response contribute to improved emotional awareness and interpersonal relationship. ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ತದನುಭೂತಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಪತಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇತರನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂತರ್ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗ್ತವೆ. ಸರ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕ ಸರ್?
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಡೂ ಆಸ್ ಮಚ್ ಆಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಸರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
So what is going to happen is, because of practicing this, we are able to what you call increase our empathy, as well as increase our interpersonal relationship, which we thought we have missed something. So that's the idea there. Then at the next level, we are going to talk about the spiritual benefits. ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ, ನಾನು ಧರ್ಮಾತ್ಮ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ. ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಾಲಿಟಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸಿಟಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್. ನಾನು ಧರ್ಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಮೊದಲನೇದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಾಂಕ್ವಿಲಿಟಿ. ಇದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಂತರಿಕ ಶಾಂತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಮಾಧಾನ. ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ we must have seen meditation and yoga practices, what you call, which increase, which emphasize deep breathing and mindfulness, which leads to body's relaxation. ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ಯೋಗ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೀಪ್ ಬ್ರೀದಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೀರ್ಘವಾದ ಉಸಿರಾಟ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವೇ ಅರಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದ ಆರಾಮದಾಯಕತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೀಸ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಆಂತರಿಕವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮೂಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೀಸ್. ಕಾಮಿಂಗ್ ದ ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ನಮ್ಮ ನರಮಂಡಲ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಫೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ವಿಲಿಟಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒತ್ತಡದ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಗಳು ಏನಿರುತ್ತವೆ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒತ್ತಡದ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಗಳ ಸ್ರಾವ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಭಾವ ಮೂಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಆರಾಮದಾಯಕತೆ ಮೂಡುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್, ಓಕೆ, MBSR ಮೈಂಡ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಶಾಂತಿಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್, ದೀಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ inner peace. Okay, so though regular practice, individuals can learn to observe their thoughts without judgmental, create a mental space that allows for a sense of tranquility even in the midst of life's challenges. ಇದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಇದ್ರು, though we have got several what you call challenges ahead of us, so we can manage them in a better way. ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. We have, everybody has got challenges, as I said, starting from interpersonal, financial, official, academic, everything. By practicing all these things, you can manage. I don't say you solve the challenges, but you can manage your challenges more effectively than what you are thought of. ನೀವು ಈ ಜೀವನದ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗದಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದ್ರೂ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್. heightened sense of purpose and meaning. So ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ನಾವು ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಿದೀವಿ, we have lived in this world, but many times we have lost the sense of purpose and meaning. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದ ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬದುಕಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಗತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್. ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ and the meaning of life. But by practicing yoga and meditation, okay, it encourages to live in the present moment, fostering a deep sense of purpose in each action. ಅರ್ಥ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ನಾವು ಯೋಗ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಜೀವನದ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಿದ್ರು ಅದರದ್ದೊಂದು ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲಿ, ವಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಡೂ ವಿತ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬೈ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ಸಚ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡೈಲಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಹೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೂ ಏನು ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಿದ್ದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಆಗ ನಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಬದುಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, The next part is reflection and self-inquiry. The meaning of reflection and self-inquiry, okay, they'll help individuals clarify their values and priorities. ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ, ನಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಇದು ಯೋಗ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ಅಂಶಗಳಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ. ಈ ಅಂಶಗಳಿಂದಾಗಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟೀಸ್, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟೀಸ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಬೇಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಚಿತ್ರಣ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಅವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟೀಸ್, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು. ಯೂಶಲಿ ಯಾರು ಈ ಯೋಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಾಳ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎ ಹೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಏನು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಆ ಮಹತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಬೆನ್ನೆಲುಬಾಗಿ ನಿಂತಾಗ ನಿಲ್ಲುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಟ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೋರ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಫುಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣದಾಯಕ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಹೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಆ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್, ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬದುಕೋದು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಚ್ಚಿಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಡೀಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಒನ್ನೆಸ್, ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನಗಳು ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಯೋಗ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಲೀಡ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡಲ್ ಆರ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಎ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟು ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಸೆನ್ಸರಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ನಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅನುಭವ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ESPನ ಬಂದರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಶ್ಯೂರ್. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್, ಏನೋ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ಶಕ್ತಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್, ನಮಗಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಶಕ್ತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು ದ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ನೆಸ್, ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ನೆಸ್, ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿರೋದು. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಗುರುತಿಸುವಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ the philosophical underpinnings of yoga, including concepts like interconnectedness and unity, foster a spiritual perspective. Practitioners may develop a deep sense of connection to the world, nature and humanity, leading to a profound spiritual experience and oneness. ಬಹಳ ಸರಳವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದು ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದಂತ ಭಾವ ಬಂದು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಹೌ ವಿ ಲುಕ್ ಇಟ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್, ನಾವು ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಭಾವನೆನೇ ಬದಲಾಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸರವನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎ ಪ್ರೊಫೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕತೆಯ ಒಂದು ಅನುಭವನೇ ಬೇರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದಂತ ಭಾವನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ನೋ, most of the what you call yoga practitioners are turned vegetarian, though were non-vegetarian earlier. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಂಸಾಹಾರಿಗಳಿದ್ದವರು, ಮಾಂಸಾಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದವರು, ಯಾವಾಗ ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವತ್ತಿಂದ ಅವರು ಶಾಖಾಹಾರಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಪರಿಣಾಮನೇ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಿಗೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈವನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ harm because they are also part of our nature. ಈ ರೀತಿನೂ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟಿ ಅದೇ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬದುಕಬೇಕು. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ನೆಸ್. ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಇತರರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೇ ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಹೈಫೈ ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯುಟೋಪಿಯನ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಯುಟೋಪಿಯನ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಭಾವನೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಇತರರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬದುಕಬೇಕು, ಈ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಅಕರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ idea of yoga part. So this is just example I gave how non-vegetarians turn to vegetarians because after practicing yoga. So another interesting thing is increased mind body spirit alignment. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ I started with the mind body ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದೆ ನಾನು, ದೇಹ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು. ಈಗ ದೇಹ ಮನಸ್ಸೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸೋಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ಹೆರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಹೋಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ, ಮೂರು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬೈ ಕಂಬೈನಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್, ಬ್ರೆತ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್. ಮೂರು, ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೈಹಿಕ ಏನು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆಸನಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಭಾವಗಳು, ಬ್ರೆತ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಉಸಿರಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್. ಈ ಮೂರನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿದಾಗ, ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಕ್ರನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಯಾರು ಇದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾವನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಬಾಡಿ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಕ್ರನೈಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಟು ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ವೆಲ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. ಈ ವೆಲ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಯ ವೆಲ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಒಂದು we speak about psychological well-being, we speak about subjective well-being. So psychological well-being ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that's about what you call ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ವೆಲ್-ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾವನೆಗಳು ನಾವು ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ alignment between mind, body and spirit, the researchers have said that both your psychological and subjective well-being would increase. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಖುಷಿ ಹಾಗೂ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಇದು ಎರಡೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತವೆ. ನಂತರ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೋಗ, ಓಕೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಕ್ರಾಸ್, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲೈನ್ಡ್ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೈನ್. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಕ್ ಹೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಕ್ರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎನಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ? ಯಾರಾದ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಕ್ ಹೀಲಿಂಗ್?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಕ್ರಾಸ್. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಚಕ್ರಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಅಲೈನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತವೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಒಂದೇ ಲೈನ್ ತಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಚಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅಲೈನ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್. ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಚಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ಡಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಡ್, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತವೆ. ಇವರು ಥ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಕ್ ಹೀಲಿಂಗ್ ದೇ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಚಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್. ಸೊ those specific postures and meditation, but in what you call the same concept even in what you call yoga and meditation, where this energy centers and chakras you can bring into a balance. And ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳು ಅಂತೇವೆ, ಅಲೈನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಚಕ್ರಗಳು ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತವೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಕ್ರನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ದಟ್ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿಯಸ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಬಾಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್. ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮೂರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ ಆಗ ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹ, ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಇದರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಸಮತೋಲನ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಮತೋಲನ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿ ಧನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಮಟ್ಟನೂ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳು ಆಗಲೇ ನಮಗೆ ಬಂದಿವೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. ಅಂತಿಮ ತೀರ್ಮಾನಗಳು, ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಈ ಥರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್, ಯೋಗ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್, ಖಂಡಿತ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಹಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್. ಅವ್ರ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್, ಖಂಡಿತ ನಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಮೃತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ದಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಜ್ಞಾನಾತ್ಮಕ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಅದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಡೈಲಿ ಲೈಫ್. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ದೈನಂದಿನ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ದೈಹಿಕ ಜೀವನದ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆನೂ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಆಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ the practices which what you call promote emotional regulation. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾವನೆಗಳ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವೇಗಗಳ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಇಮೋಷನಲ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ರೆಸಿಲಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಏನು ಸೋತಂತ ಭಾವನೆ ಬಂದರೂ ಪುನಃ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಪುನಃ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಬೇಕು. ಎಂಪತಿ, ಇದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಇತರರಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ಸಹಾನುಭೂತಿ ತೋರಿಸೋದಲ್ಲ, ತದನುಭೂತಿನೂ ತೋರಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ಆಫರಿಂಗ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಬಲ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್, ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಒತ್ತಡವನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ, ಉದ್ವಿಗ್ನತೆಯನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹಾಗೂ ಅಂತರ್ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೂ ವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳು ಇದೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ another thing is ಯೋಗ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಫೋಸ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೀಸ್. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಂತರಿಕ ಶಾಂತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಆಂತರಿಕ ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಎ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಸಂಬಂಧವನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕ್ಬೋದು. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹೋಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಟು ಸೈಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ವೆಲ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಸ್ವಸ್ಥತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಸುಸ್ಥಿರತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬಾಡಿ, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಈಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಟು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್, ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ. ದ ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಜ್ಞಾನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ, ನಂತರ ಇಮೋಷನಲ್ ಸಂವೇಗಾತ್ಮಕ ಅಥವಾ ಭಾವನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ, ಹಾಗೂ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಯೋಗದಿಂದ ಲಾಭ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್, ಇಮೋಷನಲ್, ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯೋಗ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಾರ್ಮಸ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ದರ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಇನ್ನೂ ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ರೆಸಿಲಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಪುನಃ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರೋ ಒಂದು ಬೌನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್, ಅ ಡೀಪ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಜೀವನ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣತೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್, ಸೊ ಬೈ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಯೋಗ, ಅವರ್ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಥ್ರೂ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ವೇಸ್. Of course, we have discussed through lot of scientific studies where there could be structural changes in the brain, there could be psychological changes, and both the psychological and structural changes, physiological, psychological, connected to the spiritual one, can enhance our overall what you call quality of life. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಷ್ಟೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಮಟ್ಟ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಮಟ್ಟ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯೋಗ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಇತರ ಆಸನಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಆಗ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್. ಬೈ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ಜೀವನ ಮಟ್ಟನ್ನು ಧನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್.